a career plan, it is not just about a job. It's about your life. Like our careers happen to be a big part of our lives, but this is not about a promotion. This is about what is the life that I want to live in 2025. Therefore, I get to decide. It's not my manager. It's not the market. It's not anyone. It's not the new president. It is I as an individual, regardless of my age, my gender, my nationality, where I live, my background, I get to decide where I'm going. And that gives your power back, and it gives a sense of strength and control. You don't need money to do that, nor time. You just need to make a decision, and that decision is made both from the mind, from the gut, and from the heart. Welcome to 2025. We made it. Yay! Happy New Year to everyone. And wishing you that you can bring to life all the creative force that you have inside. That's what I wish for you this year. And what most people do today is they go into goal setting. But I don't believe in goal setting because the great majority of people by the end of Jan, they've forgotten about their goals. So I think it's time to redefine what is it that we do in January, 1st of Jan, 2025. And that is, instead of working on your goals and your New Year's resolution, instead, work on your strategic development plan. Let me go more into that. But first, let me tell you a story. My career, I split it into 10 years in corporate and 10 years building FinTech startups. So when I transitioned from corporate, I was in Barclays Bank. And then I went to be one of the first joiners in Tandem Bank, one of the very first startups and FinTechs in the UK. So back then, my decision-making process was, what do I do? I had three options. I can go for another role within the bank. I can go and do an MBA and everything that entails doing the MBA. Or this opportunity came up and I thought I can do an MBA, a practical MBA. And that means go and join the startup bank. Meaning that was a very risky option back then because it was not a thing. But anyways, I went with the idea that I was going to join the bank to learn because I was not going to an MBA. I was going to do a practical MBA. Back then, I met one of my best friends. We met in coaching school. So both of us are big believers in personal development and coaching. Every 6 months, I would sit with her. We could go to Chiswick Park. We could have our picnic, take our notebooks and be, what is this semester about? So I use the analogy of the MBA. And then we would say, yes, given where the company is, this semester is about Startup 101. This semester is about building product. This semester is about leadership. This semester is about finance. And I would create my curriculum because I was not going to an MBA, right? So instead, I was learning all the things as I was building. And that, looking back, was one of the best decisions I could have made back then because I was very proactive into crafting the skills and the experiences that I needed to have to go to the next level. And I was taking advantage of my environment. E.g., I was living a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity of go and build a digital bank from scratch. I felt like in Silicon Valley, like the series. Back then, I felt, oh my God, but it was true. Like every month, every week, it was an opportunity to learn. But the world is saturating us with information. So we can just go and learn. The world is saturating us with feedback. Your boss, your partner, your friends, everybody's saying something. But that's why it's important to step back and say, hey, this is what I want. This is what I want to do, such that I can take advantage of my environment to become that person. So instead of setting goals on January 1st, decide, who do I want to be in 2025? And then go and create a development plan. In today's episode, it's going to be a solo episode. Yes, you've got me for many minutes. And we're going to talk about three things. How to set that strategic direction, where to do it, and again, what to do to build it, e.g. the capabilities. Let's get into it. The first thing that we have to do is be strategic and define, where do I want to be? And this is not a, hey, do you see yourself in 10 years time? Where do you see yourself in 5, in 1? I don't know. But where do you want to be in the long term? Do you see yourself following the same career path that you have right now? For example, you may be working in product, or maybe you're not working in product and you want to get into product. Maybe you're in corporate. Maybe you want to move into a startup. Maybe you're in startup and you're like, this is not for me. I want to go back to corporate. Or maybe you're like, you know what? It is time to start a side hustle, or it's time to start my personal brand, or it is time to start that business. It doesn't matter what that thing is, but it has to come from you. You have to be like, hey, where is it that I want to go to? Where is it that I want to be? And why this is important? This is important because then it puts you back in the driver's seat. You are genuinely driving your life. You're accountable for your life. It's not just a job, it is your career. And I think that's the key message that I want to say today. It is a personal development plan, is a career plan. It is not just about a job. It's about your life. Like our careers happen to be like a big part of our lives, but this is not about a promotion. This is about what is the life that I want to live in 2025. Therefore, I get to decide. It's not my manager. It's not the market. It's not anyone. It's not the new president. It is I as an individual, regardless of my age, my gender, my nationality, where I live, my background, I get to decide where I'm going. And that gives your power back, and it gives a sense of strength and control. You don't need money to do that, nor time. You just need to make a decision, and that decision is made both from the mind and from the heart. I would say even it's like from the mind, from the gut, and from the heart. So why is it important to define where we're going? Because if we know where we're going, we have clarity. And then once we have clarity, we can make very conscious decisions about where we're going. We can make decisions about the path. We can be more proactive about opportunities, spotting opportunities or creating opportunities. And we can easily say no because that doesn't take me where I want to go. And once you have that clarity, it also gives you that je ne sais quoi feeling that sometimes lacks when you just go to a job on a Monday. So the how we get clarity. 3 things. Number 1, you need to be brutally honest with yourself. You don't need to tell me, nor your friends, not your spouse, not your manager, not your parents, absolutely no one. But you need to be honest with yourself. Write down, as of today, what is it that you'd like and don't like, either about your life or your career. And then this is where it's like the beauty, right? Then give yourself permission to dream. I think many times we don't give ourselves permission to be big, to dream, to be bright, to make a difference, because we have fear of what is somebody else going to say about me, all the judgment, because people don't care, but we think that they care and we think that they judge us. Some people do, but in reality, no one does. No one really cares. So if no one really cares, the only person that cares is you. So you might as give you permission to dream and give yourself permission to live a big life, and ask yourself, if money was not an issue, if I could live anywhere around the world, if visas were not an issue, if money was not an issue, if I could pass all the interviews of the world, if that's what I want to do, get the funding, like if resources were not an issue, what would you be doing now? That's a very important question. I know what I could be doing now. I think you know what I know. But that's key. The most important thing then is to ask yourself, why would you be doing that thing? And once you have that answer, then ask yourself one more time, but why is this important for me? Why is it important for me to do that thing and to have that thing that I think I'm doing this because my why? I think my why may be impact, right? Or joy, or creative expression, or security. Doesn't matter, but why is that impact, joy, security, creative expression, freedom important to you? What would that enable you to do with your life? That's why honesty with yourself is super important. So we've set roughly the direction, right? And we've anchored that in the why it's important to us. Then the next thing to do is to do a self-assessment. Yes, coming back to Earth. We went back dreaming, now we're back to Earth. So ask yourself, how far are you from your desired career? And again, be super honest. I rate myself all the time. I don't know if my managers do, but I do all the time. Probably I'm stricter with myself. And then basically, I assess myself against two pillars. One is, what are my skills, whether that it's like soft or hard skills? And what are the experiences that I want to have? For example, if you are someone who wants to get into public speaking, which are the experiences that you need to start building to get into public speaking? E.g., maybe you need to start going to conferences. Maybe you need to be the one that presents in the company all hands meeting. Put yourself in those experiences, because if you identify what are those gaps, maybe you want to be in front of the CEO, you want to be in front of the board, like in front of investors. Put yourself in those experiences that you want to live, just because you want to live them, because you're going to gain something from that. It's not, oh, I want to go and take a certification because that's the skill that I want to need. It's like, that is like it's very valid, but at the same time, it's like very dry, rational thinking. Like, genuinely think about what are the experiences that you want. And then again, go deeper and ask yourself, why could that be important? Okay, so now that you've identified what are the skills and what are the experiences that you want, then look at your environment and look at your current role and be like, hey, this is what I want. Look at your company's roadmap, at your 2025 year goals, and say, hey, this is where the company is going. And then act as a matchmaker and just be proactive and strategic and be like, hey, I want to do this and I have this project that I'll use as a vehicle. And you go and you do it and you drive and you come up with the why you want to do it. And then you go and speak with your boss, with your manager. So basically, the part 3 of having this strategic plan is coming up with a plan as such. So out of all this dreaming and then skills gap assessment and all these things that you want to do, then nail it down, narrow it down, and identify the one, maximum 2 things that will have the most impact. Once you identified that, for example, it could be strategic thinking, problem solving, communication skills, learning AI, learning how to code, getting closer to P&L, learning product growth. Pick one. The one that will have the most impact, that will get you closer to that dreamed life. And then basically create a plan to build that capability. I am not saying go to LinkedIn and all the online courses and buy courses and read them and study them. That is one bit. That is knowledge. But build that capability end to end and think about how to do it. Everyone will be different. But this is where you partner up with your manager as well. And you say, hey, I want to learn this. We want to get here. I want to build these capabilities. And think about it when you speak with your manager, like with him or her, think it from the, hey, what's in it from them? Why is that relevant to them? If you just come up with, hey, I want to learn painting just because, can I do this in my free time at work that I don't have? Your manager will be like, ah. But if you frame it, it's about framing it in a way that, hey, this is where we're going as a company. This is what I want to do. I want to build these capabilities. How can I do it better? I have 3 ideas. I can come up with that. So my key point here is your career direction. It is about intentional direction. It's about setting the direction. It's not about having a very rigid plan. You know the direction. So let's go with part 2. Where should you go and build this? And I'll come back to my initial times in startup. I had a mentor. He is a very special person in my career because I learned a ton from him. And I'm extremely grateful for his time and his wisdom. So what I'm doing now, I'm just passing that to you because like it made a massive difference to my life, my career. So one of the things that you want to think about is, where do you want to go and build this career, this life? And his advice was like, hey, Moni, you want to be in a growing industry, in a growing company, and ideally in a growing team. So if you think about that, is you want to be in a growing industry. If we think about DVDs, but that's too old. If we think about written newspapers, do you want to work for a written newspaper only, or do you want to be in an up-and-coming media company that is doing all this digital stuff? And you get the difference. Look for a growing industry. FinTech is a growing industry. In a growing company, if you are looking to work into FinTech or if you work in FinTech, within the FinTech startups, we have a range of type of FinTechs. Just be careful. This one is go with your eyes opened because some startups are more risky than others. You have some that are established. They are more like scale-ups now. They are growing, but they're established. And others, they are just getting started and they make a ton of promises, but you don't know what are the financials behind them. So just do your due diligence before you jumped into this one because it's, hey, it's a growing company. They told me. No, it's get evidence. And then basically put yourself in situations where you can meet people who work in these growing industries and these growing companies. For example, you can join like webinars. You can follow a ton of people on LinkedIn. You can go to conferences, and this is industry agnostic, not just FinTech. So let's go a little bit deeper now. How do I know that this is a growing industry if I already work in FinTech? So one thing is you need to identify what are the next big trends that you'd like. So for example, if we think about a FinTech industry, we have AI is huge, stable coins, cybersecurity, fraud, identity. For example, out of those, be like, hey, which ones do I like, right? For example, in my case, my first preference may not be cybersecurity, but it may be yours. So it's important to be something that you also like because life is too short. So ensure that you like it. Or you can also be like, hey, which geographies are growing? APAC and LATAM are just like growing. So ensure that you identify those and map those. Then, even if you are not in APAC or LATAM or in AI or cybersecurity at the moment, do the work to analyze what does this trend mean to me and to my job in 2025? What does this trend mean to my customer expectations and behaviors in 2025? How are customers going to change because of all these trends of AI, cybersecurity? And basically, also, this is what no one tells you. Also, put yourself in the shoes of your manager who has high standards. And then, if you're in their shoes, then ask yourself, if I was my manager, what is it that I'd love from a high performer in my team, in my role, to do regarding those trends? So let me simplify. What that means is, hey, for example, I work in FinTech and I see that the trend is AI. I've done an analysis of this is how I think product management might change because of AI. And then my analysis of this is how I think customer behavior and expectations when it comes to financial services will change as a result of using AI. Therefore, if I am my boss, then it's like, hey, I would love Monica, who is in the product team, who's leading the product team. I would love her to come up with a strategy on how we are going to change our ways of working, incorporating AI, and how we should shape our roadmap, whether that is in experiments or big bets, such that we incorporate AI. That is an example. And then if you do that with your job, believe me, very simple. You are one step ahead. And of course, once you've identified, for example, in my case, like the ways of working for AI in this example, then again, go up and come up with a plan, not a massive plan, like one or two things that you need to do. So I'll stop here and I'll recap. Number one, have clarity on where you're going because it gives you that sense of direction, ability to say no to things that are not in your path, ability to say yes to opportunities or create new opportunities. And then number two, identify an area like a growing industry, a growing company, a growing department, and find the trends and basically analyze if I see these are the trends, then what is it that I should be doing right now in my current role to take advantage of those trends and put the bar high? E.g., behave as your manager with the high standards. And out of those, basically, you've created as well action plans, the 1 or 2 skills and experiences that you need to learn, and the 1 or 2 actions that you would have to do to have the most impact. So now let's be very practical. Section number 3. You need to build your capabilities. And this is where the magic happens. In other words, you need to take action. So basically, if you think about it, your peer, whether it's in your company or the company next door, your peer is doing exactly the same thing as you right now. Everybody's thinking about their career, their development plan, their goals, how they can be better. So you need to ensure that you're really good, so good that people can't ignore you because competition is harsh. So you want to be able to be put in the room with the best and still be recognized as one of the best. That's it. We're all different, but you want to be in that pack that it's like the best. And you need to be able to be like, hey, we're peers. We recognize and respect each other because we know we have the capabilities. We know our game. So this is where the deep work comes in. And this is the big difference to what I said at the beginning, right? It's not about setting a goal, but it's about who do you want to become in 2025. So if you think about who do you want to become, you need to think about who are you? That's a deep question. But to paraphrase that question, we can say, who are you as a value proposition? Okay? Think about yourself as a product because you are. And then when we think about a value proposition, we think about who's the customer and then what are the benefits that I'm going to give that customer. So in our case, when we look at ourselves, we think about the combination of expertise, skills, and personality traits that makes you unique to solve strategic problems. Once you create that list, then basically you have the core of what is your superpowers. And please do notice that I did mention personality. So it's maybe you are an introvert that loves quiet thinking time, deep thinking. Maybe you're an extrovert that loves connecting with people. And it's more the relationship management side. Maybe you are a numbers wizard. And basically what you love is thinking through all the rationale behind each number, this, the other. Like all of us have unique personality traits that then translate into our strengths and talents that then would translate into work. So don't be humble. Don't be humble. Look at yourself as a value proposition and think what are the unique combination of skills, expertise, and personality traits. Then, once you have this list, then go back to the previous 2 exercises and say, basically, you've already decided what are the 1 or 2 things that you're going to be working on. So now, this is where the 2 things overlap. Put your value proposition, what makes you unique, with the things that you want to work on. Put them together and view them with a different lens. We're going to overlap them each other. And for these, I'm going to wear my glasses. So these glasses give me a different perspective, right? I used to have this is my set of skills and experiences that I want to build. B, this is my unique value proposition, my set of traits, personality traits, and experiences that I have that make me unique to solve strategic problems. With these glasses, e.g., I'm referring to a different vision. I'm going to bring the 2 together so that I can see something different and then ideate what is the one thing, if I mix these 2, what is the one thing that if I focus on that, it will elevate my game drastically. Let's take off the glasses now. Okay, I had to do that. Had to put on the glasses. If you are listening only, you have to go to YouTube and check on the glasses. But anyways, this new lens will allow us to develop that differentiating strategy. That's why I said it's a strategic development plan, a strategic career plan. and we choose the one thing that we need to do well after we've analyzed it. So the last thing that you have to do is, it's not enough for you to build your plan. I know we've got through a lot of work, but that's not enough. The other thing that you need to work on is your visibility plan. Especially this one is for women and for introverts. Yes, you need to ensure that people around you know the work that you're doing. That's it. And they need to know the value that the work that you're doing brings to the organization. Sometimes they may not understand what you do. Sometimes they may not even know that you do. Sometimes they'll be like, hey, but we need to do this. And you're like, I already have it, but no one knows about it. That's happened to me multiple times. So don't worry. It is normal. It's not a gender thing. It's just like the world is very complex. So ensure that people know your value, know what you're doing. And this is not about bragging. It is not. But we live in an ecosystem where you need to communicate your value. If we're thinking ourselves as product, so we may have an amazing product, we may have an amazing fintech, but if customers don't know about this amazing value proposition, who's going to use it? Absolutely no one. So same, if you have this amazing value proposition that you are upgrading, think about this development plan as new features and upgrades that you're doing to your suite of product sets, right? And so you keep upgrading your product, e.g. yourself. But if the market, if your customers don't know about the product and all these amazing things, you need to ensure that you have a strategy on how you're going to ensure that you communicate the amazing things that you're doing within your team at work. And I urge you to consider building your personal brand online, because that's it. We live in an online world. I think that's it. Coming back to you, why is this important? It is 2025. Please don't make the mistake of going and making goals that you're not going to achieve at the end of the year. Please don't make the mistake of creating a list of goals that by the end of January, they will be gone. Instead, define who is it that you want to be by the end of 2025. Define where is it that you want to go and have that clarity. Define what are the skills and experiences that you want to build that allows you to get there. Define what is your value proposition, e.g., what set of skills, experiences, and personality traits make you unique to solve strategic problems. And then with these new set of inputs, wear the glasses, have a new lens, expand your vision, and say, therefore, this is the one thing that I want to work on this year. Be strategic about it and go for it. That's it. Be confident about it. So that's it for today. I will leave you with a call to action. And basically, I need you to do 3 things. Number 1, dream. Give yourself permission to dream and create that dream life in your mind first. Number 2, do a growth audit. Impact assess those skills, experiences, capabilities that you have today against those that you need in your dream life. And number 3, create your value proposition, meaning create that list of unique combination of skills, experience, and personality traits that make you amazing in solving that strategic problem. And then go and find that one thing that will help you elevate your proposition to an upgrade premium proposition, and then go and build your visibility plan. That's it for today. Everyone, have an amazing day, week, month, and year ahead. Sending you much love. Ciao.